Hey there, it's another California market report, another crazy day in the mortgage business in October. We had a very interesting start to the month. Rates climbed precipitously, as most of you know. They did level off. The unrest and unfortunate events that are happening in the Middle East right now seems to have sort of stalled things out there in terms of the mortgage rate climb. It is true, though, that we are going to be in this market for a while. And so what I wanted to come at you with today is something that I've been studying that the builders have been doing. The builders have been doing this for about 3 months pretty consistently. What are they doing? They are marketing their ability to buy the interest rate down and get their buyers into homes with a much more reasonable targeted interest rate. They do that with either permanent rate reduction and or a 2-1 or other sort of temporary buy down in the rate. It can dramatically affect payments in both cases. There are some requirements about maximum seller contribution. There are some requirements around high cost testing. That all being said, a standard seller, this is why I'm telling you this, a standard seller can do exactly the same thing, subject to some of those issues I just described. The best way to figure out how to structure this is to call your Castle Hill mortgage expert. Let them talk to you about your particular client situation, or maybe talk to you about a general strategy you can use as you're going out on listing appointments to talk to sellers about ways to make their home more attractive in a more difficult market from an affordability perspective. So again, there is a way to get a permanent rate reduction or an initial rate reduction for your buyers. It's what the builders are doing. It works really well. The builders have not slowed down really at all. They're still very busy and closing lots of transactions. So we can take that page out of their book. There's a second lesser known thing that the builders do, which I think is really smart. They figured out that buyers don't buy interest rates, they buy a payment, because the payment is what they have to make every month. And the interest rate is an esoteric thing. Obviously, at some point in time, the interest rate can change because you can refinance a transaction. What they're focused on is helping people visualize the way that they can get into the home. So you'll go to some of the builder websites and you'll look at, say a community, and what you'll find is they often, not all of them do this, but many of them do. And sometimes they do this in specific communities. Many of them market the actual monthly payment rather than the rate at all. They don't even talk about rates, even ones that own their own mortgage companies. It's a great way to kind of, drill down on what the actually important part of this whole thing is, which is affordability, and can the person afford it, and can they visualize making that payment? So the first thing you want to think about is, could you have a strategy for your sellers to help position their homes for sale by helping them understand how a seller credit towards a permanent or a temporary rate reduction might be advantageous? And the second thing is could you market your homes with payments rather than rates to show and display what is actually possible for your buyers? We have a great system right now, what we call our second opinion pricing, which basically is if somebody has already talked to a mortgage lender, so long as it's not a jumbo loan, we'll be happy to look at that and match or beat that price, so long as it is not a builder-owned mortgage company and it's not a jumbo mortgage. Everything else we have qualifies for that. So that's one of the ways that we're trying to get in front of this for you guys. I know I mentioned that in a past update. So take a page out of the builder book and take advantage of some of the strategies they've been using really effectively to position their inventory for sale and help your sellers sell their homes quickly.